Good evening to the listeners, and welcome to this weekend
It's
interview.
a special program tonight, Valentine's Day, the 14th of February 2024. But we're having all kinds of technical issues tonight. We That's why we so let's my first of all, let me just apologize for the late start. We were trying to get some of these technical issues resolved. We managed to get the audio resolved, so we come on, and but the video, if you notice, is still a little bit shaky. So you bear with us. I hope that the video will improve, the quality will improve as we go along. But thank you for waiting. I see there are some of you coming on, still on. Thank you for waiting for us to come on. Really not sure what happens. I was really looking forward to tonight's program. I have a special guest. I, I, I'm going to skip most of the intro stuff that we do because we are already late, and let you know that I have a special guest tonight in many ways because he's my nephew. Once upon a time, I used to think of him as my little nephew, um, but now he is bigger than me, so I can just refer to him as my nephew. But no, seriously, I'm really really proud um, to share an hour with you this evening with Mr. Michael Marshall Drigo. I have always known him as Marshall, so his name is Sweet Daddy on Tropicali's radio. But he's here tonight, not just in that capacity. Um, Michael just released a book of poems called "A Poem in a Minute," and there's a strong um, romantic and love theme that's threaded right through the the body of poems. And so I decided that it would be best to have him as our Valentine's guest. Love is in the air. And so I want to give a very warm welcome to Mike Drigo, um, with his hot book, fresh off the press, A Poem in a Minute. Welcome to this weekend interview, Michael.
evening, Uncle. How you doing?
I'm well. I'm doing well. All right, there you have the book up. Yeah. So as I was telling the audience before you came on, that one of the main reasons why I have you on tonight, two reasons. They're connected. Tonight is Valentine's Day, 14th of February, and you just released your new book of poems, A Poem in a Minute, and that book um, seemed to be strongly themed on love, and especially romantic and erotic love. And so I thought it would be very fitting to have you on, um, to to spread some love on Valentine's Day. Let's put it this way. So I'm super super proud to have you on.
Yeah, I'm feeling blessed to be, spending Valentine's night with my uncle. First of all, it's my favorite uncle. I know people not supposed to say that, but he is my favorite uncle. So it's a blessing to be on tonight with you on Valentine's night to talk about the book and talk about the contents of the book and so on.
Yeah. So I didn't know you to be, well, you're Drigo, so that means you have some romance in you. But I when they said that you had so many poems that you could compile them into a book, I was surprised. I was very very pleasantly surprised. The name of the book is interesting. So let's just talk to the audience a bit about um, your journey to from towards putting your work together, and sharing with us these wonderful poems. Talk to us. Why did you pick that title? Um, what motivates your writing? Let's just get a general introduction so people know who you are.
So, well, I've already been introduced as Michael Drigo. So that's my uncle right there, Uncle Tony. So yeah, ever since I was a young boy, I've always been fascinated with romance and the essence of a relationship, all right, between people, not just romantic, not just physical relationships, but any type of relationship that you would have, whether it be friendship, family, romance, intimate relationships is very important, and people sometimes neglect it, or they get so complacent that they do not see the value in their love and in their relationship and the essence of what they do and how they live, right? So
Mhm.
I've always wrote stuff, and I've always talked to people, especially in my past relationships, about the importance of having somebody feel as number one, feel as there is not a replacement, or there is nothing else as equally important in your life, right? And that goes from both sides, right? Male and female. Well, I've always expressed it to particular people, and I started writing a long time ago. I lost a bunch of stuff on a drive, but then I continue writing again, and then with it, but I write through inspiration. So it can be any time at work, or I wake up at night and I would have an idea or an inspiration, and I would just start writing about it. For the most part, the following day, I would continue make my corrections, and But I have a good
Mhm.
friend, a dear friend of mine, that has every copy of everything I ever wrote, right?
Oh wow.
And yeah, yeah. She's not from Dominica though, but she has a copy of everything, including my quotes, everything I wrote. I sent it to her, so she have that secure, right? And then so the reason for the title of the book, right? Part of it is because I say it's for laymen, meaning that the ordinary person that may not have a sense of romance or a way of expressing the deep feelings or the things they imagine and in little bits and saying it all out. So that's where the name of the book come from, A Poem in a Minute. It's not expected for you to read the poem, A Poem in a Minute, but the idea of it is to tell your partner, I need a minute. I need you to give me your full attention. I need your undivided attention. Let's turn the phones off, turn the television off. The kids are fine. Everything is fine. Now is my time with you, and I need your undivided attention. So when I come up with a poem in a minute, it means that it's one time that you could take up this book, pick a poem in there, and you can express yourself. You can express who you are. You can express your truth in one setting, right? So you start and you get to finish everything that you want to express your thoughts through the day, your feelings through the years, and you want to say it out because it's been a minute. So that's the reason for A Poem in a Minute, is being able to express a whole set of words, a combination of words, well put together, to the person that you care about and love the most, and really get it out there. All right. So that was the big thing about that.
That is an interesting concept. So it's as if you're giving, not everybody is a love doctor, but everybody has emotions. Everybody, you know, care for somebody. And sometimes you may have something that you want to say. And there's two things that can happen. Y- Once you start to talk and the person's in front of you, you start to stammer, you start to get nervous. Your well prepared speech might start to get mangled. You might say one word that might trigger the person and the person reacts negatively. So you're saying that with this tool, somebody can take this book and say, this poem sort of embodies, at least it's an icebreaker, it sets the stage to where my partner is going to become comfortable. And I'm going to say, okay, I need a minute so I can say this to you. And you start to read. So, for example, one of the titles of one of your poems is Love is Life. I'm just going to read the first couple of lines. It says, Love is life. Love is clear. Love has no vision. Love has no passion. Love has no reaction. Love has no determination. Love is here. And so, this attention and put them in a mode where they can listen to you and allow you the space to say more of what you want to say. So I'm fascinated by that concept that you say, give me a minute, I need a minute of your time. And instead of trying to develop from your emotion, your words, you have you have somebody else saying it for you. I guess it's almost equivalent to buying a postcard Sometimes you'll get a postcard that kind of says what they want to say, and send that postcard because um, your partner receives the postcard and they can read it. And while they're reading it, they're less likely to interrupt. They're going to read the entire thing. Right.
Right.
So
So
I really like that concept. I think that's an awesome concept. It's almost like you're giving, like you say, a layperson a tool that they can use in communicating with their partner. All right.
all right.
So
So
it
it
do you have
do
a
you have a
favorite,
favorite?
or do you have a particular poem that you want to share a little bit with the audience?
Well, if I were to say I had a favorite, I probably would be doing myself an injustice because, like, I normally go back and read everything. I
Mm-hmm.
would pick a particular one and read. Um, the reason for the poem Agape being
Mm-hmm.
first in the book is because Agape one of is a favorite of everyone, right? Most people have already messaged me about it and asked me about Agape and all that stuff. But my dear friend that has helped me all through, her name Venez. I give her credit for all that. So as far as picking which poem goes to where, I give her the opportunity to do that and to express that. All right. So I'm gonna go with the one Agape that I can read a few lines from the one
Mm-hmm.
Agape, and yeah, we'll see how that goes, and you tell me how you feel about that one. All right.
All right.
All right.
Because even I'm going to stretch it a little bit. Even my brother Sam, when I remember when he read Agape, he called me and he said, "Yo, what's going on with you, man?" I mean, like, and I'm like, "What you mean?" He says, "Man, this Agape thing, like, there's another level." All
Mm-hmm.
right, so I know that's one of his favorite ones too. All right, it goes like this: breathtaking, overwhelmingly amazing, a dose of truth that's captivating, taste of beauty that's incredibly amazing, the part of my life with true meaning. All right, so this right there, when you take your time and read this to your partner, when you take your time and express this to your partner, it is supposed to bring meaningful change. It's supposed to light them up. Like one person says to me, "Oh my God, I'm not gonna say exactly what they said, but when they gave the expression of what reading that poem did to them, it was amazing for me. So yeah, it's just every
And
poem has something special and exceptional about them.
eh,
Eh,
I'm going to
I'm
read
going
the
to read
two
the
next
two.
lines, just the two next lines to that poem, because you stop. I think you stop where it says, "The part of my life with true meaning, the main reason for me existing. Heaven is the space that I'm living in." I think those two lines really sets the stage for that kind of a poem. And so, listeners, it's Valentine's Day. I hope you agree with me that this is a perfect book for us to focus on Valentine's Day. My guest tonight is Mr. Michael Drigo. His fans, because he has a live online program that he does weekly, um, Sweet Daddy on Tropicalist Radio. We'll talk about that a little bit more. I see you have a lot of fans on here already. But to us in the family, we know him as Marshall, but he's also Michael. So I'm going to call him Michael because that's his most popular. Mike, that's his more popular name on social media. Mike, you have a bunch of fans in here who are saying good night to you. Um, Hannah says, "I care, but they don't." Hannah, what's going on? Monica um, says, "All J, love alone." Juliana says, "Good night." Juliana, good night, love alone. You just have a lot of fans. Annette Phillips says, "Congratulations." Anna is also a writer. She has been making so much progress in her with her books. There's a lot of folks on here who are just, you can just see their huge fans of you. there's so much hats in the comments and in the chat. you know, how does that make you feel? What do you want to say specifically to your fans who made the effort to tune in to listen to us tonight? Your mic's muted.
And
Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
can't say love alone enough, because just about every name you see there are my regular fans, are people that are dear to me. They come on every show. They encourage me as much as possible. Their reactions to the poems is amazing. Like, sometimes I would do a show and many of them would be like, "You have to read us a poem tonight. You have to say something to us tonight." And I would read a poem and the reaction is amazing. All right. I don't want to be specific because every one of these people that you see there, Uncle, they contribute, they share, they tell their friends, they do as much as they can in support, as much as they can. And I'm truly humbled by this. So every time I see their reactions like this, it brings so much joy to my heart and humility, right? So yeah, this is amazing and this is loving, because many people were looking forward to tonight's interview, with you. So yes, this is real and this is happening. So honestly, I'm just humbled by it.
Yeah, and again, I want to tell listeners that I apologize. For whatever reason, my connection is a little shaky. You can see my video is sticky, light around my head and all of that. But the show has to go on. And tonight, I was looking forward so much for tonight. When Mike told me that he was releasing his book, and we agreed that he would come on this weekend interview as my guest. The excitement was to bring him on right away. And then I looked at the program and the schedule of guests, and I said, no, I think Valentine's Day is on a Wednesday. Luckily, Valentine's Day is on a Wednesday. And so that would be a perfect time for him to come on and as my guest on Valentine's Day. So your poems are mostly about love and relationship, and love on a deeper level. Um, what do you think is responsible for that kind of because people that know you're not I don't want to use the wrong adjective, but sometimes you're not an easy guy. And then to see that sweet and soft side of you, that just unfolds. What do you think that is that emotion, that feeling that brings out that sort of tenderness and romance in you?
Everybody have a side that they show. Everybody have. So most people have multiple sides and even triple
Mhm,
sides,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
With me, I guess I remember when I could tell you that when I was growing up, when I was back then growing up, and I used to be with Uncle Joseph, right, in Castle Bruce. There was a girlfriend I had in Castle Bruce, right, and we were forced to break up for family reasons, which didn't make no sense to this day. And so I went into my shells, and she get to know a side of me that nobody knew. My mom raised me the way she did, and she always taught me to love and always taught me to be passionate. And I experiencing her life and the way she went through life and the romance, it was kind of scary for me because I didn't get the concept of loving so much and giving so much of yourself when getting so little back, and
mhm,
being
mhm.
acknowledged so minute. So I used to always be, reserved. And then when I get my heart broken at 17, 18 years old, that put a thing in me where I was like, nah, I gotta show, Marshall. I couldn't let Michael surface because Michael is the nice sweet guy.
Oh,
Michael
really?
is
Oh,
the
really?
guy that is Michael is the guy that goes out of his way. Michael is the guy that makes sure everybody's okay before himself. Michael is the guy that cries. Michael is the guy that is passionate. Michael is the guy that's super sweet. So I hide that. And then the next time I fell in love and I exposed myself, I was a grown man. That was back in 2008, 2009. And I dealt with things on my level. And sometimes I wish, I had somebody to talk to about certain things and to reason out on my level with me, in the same place, in the same realm, but I never had that, So I kept everything inside, right? I write and I kept it. I never used to share things with people because I would hear people saying, "Oh, I know you," and I get to know you, and I'm like, "No, you don't." Up to this day, I still tell people you don't. You think you know me, you see things, you assume things, and you come up with a conclusion, you come up with a solution, but that's not who I really am. But I am so careful with this. It's you can't comprehend it because I don't want to show it, I don't want to share it, I don't want to express it. So this book right there is inspiration, but inspiration through the person that I really am on a higher level, as far as reality and love is concerned. So you can read the poem, I can read a poem, and if I read the poem to you and really take my time and do it, then it's different because then you're going to get the essence of what's really coming through. So sometimes when I do that, people think that, "Oh, I know you, I knew," and I'm like, "No, you don't," but being able to express that and to share that, and when people call me and say, "Hey, I read the poem, I read this poem with that poem, and it did something to me," it made me feel like you talking to me, and it made me feel different, it made me feel extremely special. Then I go into a zone where I'm excited, where I'm complete, right? Where I feel like I've done something right, where I feel like I've accomplished something and I've blessed somebody's life. So in the poems, people might see it differently and they might not. Like I tell people all the time, you may not get everything I say. You might get one word, you might get one sentence, you might get one paragraph. Whatever is for you in the poem, make the best of it. If somebody expresses these poems to you, do not take them for granted. Pay attention. Especially okay, so I sent 2 books. One lady bought 2 books, right, in Dominica, and she got her books, and she posted the video, RJ, and she ran downstairs 4 floors, came back up, and she has them. She's super excited, and I'm looking at the reaction of the lady expressing her excitement about receiving the book, just receiving, because she's read a couple of them poems before, and I'm like, when I saw the video, I'm like, "Oh my God, check this out! Like, I did this,
Right.
I brought this personality out, and I brought this excitement out, and all together, I'm thinking like, okay, you see right there, this is the love that Michael wants to share. This is the love that has to come out and is coming out. So yeah, it's there, but anyone fully experienced it and understand it and has received it. That's what I'm going to say about that.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so
when I read books, especially books of poems, there are some poems that you feel connected to. There are some that hits you a little deeper. What I found in going through a poem in a minute is that almost every poem had something in there that I felt, and that is rare. That is definitely an indication of a deeper talent, where you're able to. It's not easy, especially on these deep emotions. It's not easy to capture them, to analyze them, and to express them back on paper, and then to put them in such a way that somebody else can understand and identify and interpret in their own way. That is definitely some kind of a talent, and that makes me super proud. You should be super proud of this work that you've presented, because that what I say is that there's so many poems in that book, and all of them, each one of them. Sometimes you look at a compilation of poems, and some of them just seem to be, well, you add that one because you wanted to get to 20 or 15 or how many, but every single poem seems to be hard hitting. And so, how often do you write? Do you do you
do you
still
still
write
write
those
those
poems from
poems from
years
years
ago?
ago?
How often do you still write?
It's just that like it's been a little drought. I call it a drought because
Hmm. Hmm.
um, there is a poem in the book, right, that I wrote uh, just before, pretty much about a month before I sent it to Sam. I sent the whole thing to Sam, and the name of the poem I didn't put it on until the owner of the poem um, finally. That's one poem I could say I actually wrote for somebody, right? And that was a few months. I think that was back in September, somewhere in September, August, September. I wrote that poem and I named it funny. I named the name of the poem was "Fu." I'm not gonna say exactly, but that was what it
Hmm.
was. And then that poem is an amazing poem, right? I mean, truly amazing. It's very, very powerful, and people read that poem and cried, and that's one of them poems where when I get a reaction on it, if somebody just randomly run into it and read it and get it, and they give me a reaction, I'll be like, yeah, this is amazing. But the quotes, I still write the quotes. So every now and then I write a quote. I haven't written any major poems in a while because I have other things going on,
Hmm. Hmm.
so I get an inspirations, but I just do not put them. I don't wake up. I just do not put them on paper. So, but they come when they come. I write them. Sometimes I just go into my meditation and I just, dwell within myself and enjoy them. But I still have a lot more poems than what is in this book.
Wow.
So there is gonna be another part of this book, and it's just putting them together. Also, there is something called the other side. I call it the other side. Whereas people like there is poem 29, page 29 or poem 29 in the book. That poem, someone read it, and they called me and they said, "Hey, I need to have a conversation with you about this poem because I cried after I read this poem because I can identify properly with this poem because when I went through the experience in life, exactly what you said, I thought I was losing my mind. I thought I was crazy because I had nobody to talk to about it, and I went through it, and it was really, really hard for me. And now reading this years later, at my age, she says she's 52 years old, and she's like, "Well, I realized that I was not crazy back then because somebody on this earth actually went through the same things I went through in my life, and they was like, it was time for me to get that and read that. Even now, I'm feeling so relieved just reading a poem that you wrote and you don't know me like that. And everything about the poem relates to my life and what I experience. And I can be joyful and grateful and humble. So things like that really, really blesses my heart. So, yeah.
Yeah, that is like that concept where somebody says they go to a concert or they listen to a song, and it feels as if the person found their diary or the person was listening to their conversation because that person was able to capture um, exactly what they felt so accurately, and so again, that's the mark of an artist. We're pushing up hard against our break, folks. If you joined us a little late, my guest tonight is Michael Drigo. He's my nephew. Full disclosure. Once upon a time, I used to think of him as my little nephew, because I have a few years on him. I remember him as a young boy. I guess I was a young boy at the time too, but he was younger than me. And so, but I'm beaming with pride, because I see his writing, and I know what it I know what it takes, to really be able to, like, as you said, stop, take pen and paper, and capture the feelings that you're going through at this time. I'm going to take a quick break, Michael, and when we come back, first thing I want you to do is, because I have my audience as well. You have your fans, and they know how to find you every week. but I want you to tell the audience of this weekend interview where they can find you and see you in your element, playing your music and having fun and interacting with your fans. That is such a beautiful experience. You feel like you're in the room with him when he's doing that. So let's take a quick break, a word from our sponsors. Don't go anywhere. If you have to get a drink, get a drink. Share the live. Um, this weekend, because we started late, I skipped the intro a little bit, but of course, my regular listeners know that I appreciate them coming every week to this weekend interview. Those of you who are on this weekend interview for your first time, I hope you come back and join us. We do this every Wednesday at 8 p.m. But let's go to a quick word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Presented by
People say I've got a great smile. Well, I have to say, this is all thanks to the professional team at Beacon Dental Group right here in Dorchester, Massachusetts. I've got world-class dental care. Beacon Dental Group has expert and caring staff dedicated to providing the most advanced and satisfactory treatment in all aspects of oral health. Their services are designed to meet your needs and give you a perfect smile, too. General checkups, cosmetic surgery, Gemini laser service, and advanced procedures, all in a state-of-the-art facility. Call or visit Beacon Dental Group today, 1026 Blue Hill Avenue, Dorchester, Massachusetts, or call 617-282-2146 for a smile that lights the world.
How much Dominican history do you know? Want to learn some fun facts? We have a great and fun way to test your knowledge and learn more about our history. Get your copy of Dominic Anu, Dominica in Puzzle. Fun for the whole family. Available now on Amazon.com. Visit pushpast10.com to learn more. Email us at dominicainpuzzle@gmail.com or call 877-698-9894. Looking to promote your business, engage current customers, and reach new people? Well, look no further. From the basic presentation to a fully fledged advertisement, use your video ads to attract customers. At Man's Audiovisual Productions, we do just that. We produce videos for business and event promotions, product demo videos, animated explainer videos, fundraiser ads, and much, much more. Engage your clients and sell online. We customize the video to match your brand design. Guaranteed to play flawless on all devices, including smart TVs. Contact us at telephone number 203-690-4342 or 767-245-6238. Visit our website, mansaudiovisual.com, or email us at derekvideo@gmail.com.
All right, welcome back. Am I back on? Welcome back, listeners. I hope you stayed with me through the break. Welcome back. My guest tonight is Mr. Michael Drigo, the author of his newly minted book of poetry, A Poem in a Minute. He just released it. It's available on Amazon, but I think if you buy it from him directly, you're going to get an autographed copy, which I think is worth so much more. When we're going to talk to him and tell him, he'll tell you what's the best way to get your own copy. And I encourage you to get it. This is a Valentine's Day special, so happy Valentine's Day to you. I hope you felt somebody made you feel special today, in their own way by doing something in hopefully they know what you like and they're able to do it for you, to make you feel special. And it's not too late if you haven't done something special for your Valentine. It's not too late. Say, you still have, at the end of this weekend interview, you still have maybe 2.5 hours, because we started late. We'll go a little bit beyond 9 o'clock. You will be able to go do something special for your Valentine's. Is the day that folks reflect on their love. And I know there's all kind of love, and people celebrate mother, daughter, mother, son, siblings love, friend love. But tonight we're talking about amorous love, erotic and romantic love. That's what the theme is tonight, and that's what that book is. A poem in a minute, written by Mr. Michael Drigo. Michael, before we go further, tell folks how they can get their copy of the book.
Okay, so blessings, everyone. Happy Valentine's to you from myself and actually, Uncle. So I got a couple of messages saying that, oh my God, you're shining and you're blushing tonight. So that's, and the response was, that is my Valentine's. Oh yeah. So to get a copy of this book, right, you could get it on Amazon. All right, but we encourage that you order it directly from me. For the most part, everybody that has ordered a book from me, an autographed copy, gets it within 3 days, 4 days. All right. To California, 3 days, 4 days. To Florida, 4 days, 3 days. To New York City, 3 days. So yeah, it's very simple to get it from me. Just inbox me, and you just send the money via Zelle, Cash App, or PayPal. And as soon as I get your money and your address at the same time, as soon as I get it, I expedite it to the mail one time for you. All right. You can also get it on Amazon, but you from me you'll get an autographed copy, and you'll get it as soon as possible. All right. And most people say they're better off getting it directly from me because of the autograph, and that they actually supporting me directly. All right. So on Amazon, or inbox me, and very soon, hopefully before the week is up, we will have a link directly to tropicaleast.com where you can just go there and purchase your book, and it's mailed to you. All right. So that's what I'm working on right now. But as soon as it comes up, I will tell you about it. So don't look for it. But as soon as it comes up, I'm going to post it and share it, that you could go to tropicaleast.com and click on the link on there, and you can purchase your book, and it will be shipped to you as soon as possible. All right.
That's cool. So you mentioned Tropicaleast. You mentioned Tropicaleast. Let's tell people about Tropicaleast and where they can follow you on your online entertainment.
Tropicaleast is an online radio station owned and operated by me. For the time being, I'm the only DJ, but I keep it live and I keep it going. I keep it great. You can also listen to our app, which runs 24/7, non-stop music plays on there. It's all Tropical Ease. All right. So if you were to go to your app store, look for Tropical Ease. All right. Tropical Ease Radio.
Tropical and spell Ease for them.
All right. TRO. Tropical Ease. EZE at the end of it. Tropical Ease. All right.
Okay. Cool.
And you can find me on Facebook as Mike Drigo, or look for Tropical Ease Radio on Facebook, and you will find us.
Right. So you actually have an online radio with Tropicaleast that runs 24/7.
And then I do shows on Sunday afternoon. We do Sunday reggae, which is everybody talks about that. The audience can also elaborate a little bit in the chat and say how much they enjoy the shows. And I do on a Tuesday night, I do a talk show that I'm doing right now.
What time on Sunday for you?
On Sunday, 5:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 5:30 on a Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
And then on Tuesday evening, I am doing something new, which we had a bit of feedback, and hopefully we can get that fixed and taken care of before next Tuesday, where I have a doctor that comes on so far. Last night it was really good. actually, but there was an echo. We apologize. I'm apologizing for the echo from the doctor's end, but I think we got that taken care of, and we should be better the next show. So I have a doctor, and I also gonna have a mental health person that's gonna come on as well. So we're gonna alternate, and then we're gonna be talking mental health and health and wellness. All right, it's just health and wellness. As a doctor, I have she's there right now, Dr. Fagan. She comes on and she answer questions, and she also do, like, if somebody wanted to ask a question in private, she helps. All right, so we do that on a Tuesday night. So on a Tuesday night we play anything from country music to R&B to anything grown, and we do that and we relax and have fun. On a Thursday night is Dominica night, where I play, sometimes I play Dominica music only, right? And we have fun in that. At present, we have a sponsor giving books, copies of the book away for free. So it's 5 books he's giving away. And on those 5 books, on a Thursday night, so we have 3 more weeks to go, where we ask questions about Tropical is Radio or myself, and or something about the book. And if you win, you get a free copy of the book, autographed copy of the book, A Poem in a Minute. All right. So we're doing that only on a Friday night or Saturday night. You might catch me. But on and everyone is welcome. Everyone is cherished. Everyone is celebrated, no matter what is going on with anyone when they come on the show. So, like on Sunday, if I may, on Sunday afternoon, we had a reggae show. So a few of our friends came on and they were not feeling well. All right. And one of my fans, who's been a friend, a lifelong friend of mine from Dominica, resided in Antigua, passed away yesterday morning. And she was on the show on Sunday. And, well, she's a big, she took part in everything. She shared everything. She did everything with us. All right. And she was like a family member. That's how we operate in here. So yeah, so we celebrate everything and we mourn with everyone and we pray. So like on Sunday afternoon, there were a few people saying, let's pray for Andra and, stuff like that. So, that's how we behave on Tropical is Radio. We are family. All right.
My condolences to you and your Tropicalist family on the loss of your friend. So, folks, listen. At the beginning of the show, I apologize for starting late because we were having technical issues. It seems like it stayed with us for the entire show. My videos are sticky, and I'm told that there is an echo that's happening. So I really appreciate you guys um, staying with us despite the less than perfect quality. I don't know what happened tonight. They said there's always a monkey wrench that tries to gum up the works, but we know tonight there's no two Valentine's Day in 2024, so we had to come on and to do it. Um, Michael, I see one of your fans put a suggestion there, which I think is a great suggestion. They said everybody should buy 5 books and give them out as gifts. And I do that a lot on This Week in Interview. I tell my listeners, let's support our people. It takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of resources, it takes money to do those things. It takes money to put on the shows, it takes money. Sometimes you give away time that you would be earning money to make sure that you are there at 5 o'clock on a Sunday and a time on a Tuesday and on a Thursday. All of those things cost, plus the equipment and all of that. And so when you have the opportunity to support, I always encourage my folks to support. I hope I hope that from tonight's show that you see a bump in the sale of the books. Let's set an ambitious target. We have 40 people that I can see, and then there are other people on tdntv.net that may not be showing up here on YouTube. I think YouTube shows up. No. So even if we see 43, there's usually a lot more people. Um, when Facebook sends the report every week, it's usually between 3 and 7,000 views that they report on This Week in Interview program. So I think if we set a target of 50, the sale of 50 books, or maybe even 100 books, you guys would make me very, very happy. Um, Support the writer, support the art, support the culture, And as one of the fans says, don't just get a book for yourself. Get one to share with somebody else. Have your own copy and give your partner their copy. And you guys can maybe even make notes. Take, read a poem, make notes. What did you get about this? And then compare it. And that might lead to some fun times and some interesting times inside of your relationship. Because that's what these poems are. They're so well written, and they're very clear. And because they're clear and well written in a way that anybody can identify with, it lends itself to really having a conversation around the theme of the poem. And so support him. He's a young man. And sometimes folks say that men don't usually know how to express themselves. Well, here's a man who is going deeper than most, and he's expressing himself, and he's expressing it in a way that you can even use it to express yourself. So I really, really, really encourage you to support him. I want to read. If I give back the mic, Mike, I want to read what's written in the book about you. It says about the author: humility overwhelms me. My passion for humanity is the drive that carries me. At a very young age, I discovered that I had a smooth way with words and a passion for music that uplifts, motivates, and encourages growth in society. I've always admired the power of unity and embraced progress through wisdom and ambition. I The courage I developed as a young man came from my mother. I respected the power that drove her and her ambition to take care of her children and still live comfortably among her peers. So much of my learning I adopted from the strength of this gracious empress who took her time and patience in molding me. And there's more, but when you get your book, I have to leave something for you to read. I cannot say everything because then it spoils it's kind of anticlimactic. When you get your book, you go, even the writing about the author in itself is interesting, helps you to understand the man who is Sweet Daddy on Tropicali's radio. So Marshall, do you find it easier to write those poems when you're experiencing a heartbreak? Or is it when when your relationship is in its blissful stage, and you're having a Valentine moment? Which of those two states in your love relationships you find inspires you to go write something down?
I'm gonna tell you what I write when if I was having a heartbreak. I can tell that to you off the stage. We'll have that conversation private. But anyway, so I write for inspiration, no matter what the condition, no matter what the situation. Like I remember one day, right? I wrote a poem, and I was at work. I was installing water softeners, and I was all sweaty, and I was digging a trench, and I was at work, and it's very hot in Texas, right? And I got an inspiration for a poem, and I stopped. I went to my truck to get a drink of water, and I wrote the first part of the poem. And when I finished working, after I left the customer's house, I sit in my truck and I finished writing the poem. And I cannot tell you the reason why the inspiration came true. I can't say, well, it's for this reason or for that reason. All right. A lot of these poems, I wrote them when I was in a very good state of mind. There were times when I was angry and I wrote poems. There were times when I couldn't sleep at all, and I woke up and I wrote a poem. And at no point there was a particular reason to say, well, I was in extreme love or there was a heartbreak. There are things I wrote about myself. There are quite a few poems I've wrote, and they are experiences of life, and there are other people that can identify and has identified with them. So as far as the heartbreaking part is concerned, they're on a different level. So that's when you hear me say about the other side. The other side, but there are many people that can identify with them as to the simple things or the difficulties, or But I just go with the flow of what comes within, the inspiration that comes, and I just write them. And sometimes I would just use my phone and just write them down, and they come out really well. Sometimes I go back and read a poem, and when I do, I'll be like, several times I've been sitting there and be like, did I really write this? And but I know I did, because I have the original copies of everything. And I mean, but it's just amazing the way they all come. And when they come, I get to express them. I want to share a few lines from a poem, if you will allow me to.
Sure, sure, for sure.
All right. This one is beyond words. All right. I'm not going to read too much of it. Like Uncle said, you got to buy it and you got to find out for yourself and you got to experience it for yourself for the first time and know what it is. Because if I give it to you, you might not find the essence in there. You might not find anything, or you might not hear anything that is suitable. But if you're in the right setting, you're in the right state of mind, and the right opportunity is there, and you allow yourself to be real and to be free, you will get what's in there for you. All right? Start. I am not sure how, but let me try. Meritorious. Different, yet phenomenal in ways that are not easily explained. Partial and compassionate with elegance. Brilliant with a gift to inspire, elevate, and build others. Your zeal and ambition to assist others rises to excellence beyond words. You are a true example of grace. When I wrote this poem, I had controversy. When I shared it with my friend, they were like, "Who did you write this poem for?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? You wrote this for somebody?" I'm like, "No, I didn't. I did say yes, I did. I did say yes, I did write it for somebody, but then I played with it for so long, Uncle. For so long, I played with this poem, right? And then when I said, well, okay, all right, why don't you choose the word for the title for this poem?" And they're like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, maybe you should choose the title for the poem." And the name of the poem is Beyond Words. And if you read this poem and you go in depth with it and you take your time and ponder on this poem, you're going to find something in there and it's going to make you feel exceptionally great and grand. All right, so I'm just going to say I'm very, very humble and grateful for this opportunity, right? And like, for example, when I hear my uncle expressing how how good it feels about me doing this and accomplishing this, it blesses me beyond measure. So, like, for me, when I was doing it, Uncle, I was like, it didn't matter how many copies of the book I sold. It didn't matter how many people buy the book or was interested in the book. I said to myself, if one person read my book and find something in it to bless them, my heart is filled. And at this point, I'm beyond words.
And I was just going to say that with the comments that I'm hearing there, you accomplished that many times over, because your fans are just so excited. I'm serious when I tell you guys to buy the book. I'm not going to read any of this one, but there's a poem called "Wow" with with 3 exclamation marks after the word "Wow." That's the title of the poem. I mean, this is not an infomercial. The purpose of tonight's program is not a sales pitch, but folks, the quality of the writing is awesome. um, Mike is able to capture feelings in his writing, and to place himself right there next to you, on the couch, on the bed, in the car, next to you and your partner. And so, really and truly, I hope that you guys support him. He says he has a second, a sequel, a part 2, and I'm sure when you read this book, you want more, and so that would be great encouragement for him. Marshall, some of these poems, I'm sure you mentioned that folks read your poem and say you wrote this about a particular person, or you write that about a particular person, and you said it's not always like that. But are you worried that some people will read a poem and know that I think I caused him to write that one, whether good or bad?
Gotten that, uncle. Yeah, I get that. Actually, that part of it is like, when you have extra icing on the cake and it's melting and just
Mhm,
dripping down and falling.
mhm,
That's how I
mhm,
just feel when I get that. So because it's like when so people say to me, I think this one is for me. And like, look, that one you write that one for me. Were you thinking about me when you write that one? And I'm like, well, it's inspiration. This I wanted to add as you said that, right?
mhm, mhm,
So
mhm.
when you read in the poems, people normally read a book and they imagine the author. They imagine and try to figure out what the writer was trying to say, or was the message that's being brought across, or trying to portray the message and stuff. One thing I want to encourage people is this: when you're reading these poems, place yourself. Forget the author. Ignore me. Don't think of Michael. Especially if you're reading these poems to your partner, right? And if you're listening to your partner read this, do not think about the author. Receive it with grace to yourself. Receive it from the person that's reading it to you. So if you find a poem in this book that you can identify with and you can bring your feelings out with it, place yourself. And please, if you're the listener or the receiver, receive the person that's sharing the poem with you, the person that's sharing their feelings with you. That's who you need to observe.
That that's an interesting observation, because when I heard the title of the book, my initial thought was, does he mean that he writes his poem in a minute? Not little, but really quick, like you sit down and you pen it. But then when you explain it, you flipped it. It's like, no, no, no. The minute is not about me. The minute is about the reader that's going to use that poem as a medium to communicate with their partner. So I guess that's the same thing that you say. When and it's very easy to happen because, as I said, the way it's written, it's very easy for folks to transfer back into themselves rather than stay on the exterior. And so, I have a little story about myself and a poem. When I was in college, I pledged a fraternity. And when you're a pledgee, you get hazed and all kinds of stuff. And so one of your bigger brothers who's testing you, they try to put you in situations where they humiliate you. And so this one guy, he took me and he gave me poems to go read to his girlfriend. So I'm just trying to express the power of poetry. And so he's like, okay, I'm so powerful above this guy. I can get him to go read poem to my girlfriend on his behalf. So it's like, okay, Big Brother, I think it was Otis, what's his name? Big Brother Otis sends me to read this poem to you. And you have to bow, because you're being hazed, really. Um, so I read the poems. I read the poems to his girlfriend, and it did not have the effect that he wanted it to have on her, because from me reading the poem to her, she started paying attention to me instead. And I guess that's what you're saying, is that when you're reading that poem, forget about the external person. Focus on you receiving, who is giving it to you and who is receiving it from you. And that's the power of the written word. And so, I want to congratulate you on that deeper level of thinking, that deeper level of emotion, And in your writing, where you talk about your inspiration coming from your mother, I think that explains why these poems seem to come from a tender place, because of the inspiration from the mother side of your upbringing. And so I hope you start writing again. You say that you have gotten out of the habit of getting up in the night or pausing and capturing your thoughts. um, I'd encourage you to start back, because those poems definitely reflect a young and hot-blooded um, person going through that stage. Um, and your new poems would probably reflect a different version, and that would be a tremendous gift, additional gift to the world, to get that more mature perspective, not and so it would help your readers in their own personal development, because your work is pretty deep, and I want to congratulate you on that major accomplishment. And the number of folks, your auntie Sophie is saying, "Congratulations, nephew." Everybody's proud. Everybody's proud. And so, before I'm not sure if I covered everything that you wanted to tell your fans, so I'll give you the opportunity to just talk to your fans once more time, before we wrap it up here.
So I wanted to say thank you to many people. The people that helped, editing the book, the cover. Um, Sam, man, I'm so grateful for you. It's amazing, you know. I can call you my brother forever, right? Um, Everyone that helped and contributed to this coming through. And I'm gonna go to, well, I'll do this. I'll do this. All right. That will make it even better for me if I do this that way. There's a young kid that, a little toddler that actually made a video. Oh, dear friend, my dear friend, your dear friend, Uncle Tanya Green's son.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And this little man read one of the poems, and she made a video of him reading a few lines. And when I received the video, I got the video when I saw it, it was after 10 at night. And I listened to it, and I'm like, wait. And I had to put my Bluetooth on so I can turn it up. And I'm like, whoa, I cried. I literally cried when I saw the video, because that inspired me. That just blessed me, like, at a different level, And this was so amazing. And then I waited for permission, so I was able to share it. I think by now the video probably have maybe almost 1,000 views already. So this is so beautiful. So I encourage my readers and my fans to at least make a short video with a few lines from a poem of their choice, so we can post it and people can see for themselves. I want to thank Alicia Williams for the cover and helping edit, Rosalind D for editing, Petra Julian, blessings to you every time, and G&D Enterprises Inc. All right, G&D Enterprises Inc. You will tell them who G&D is. And I want to say, thank you so much for your help and your support, all right, in all this. Folks, this is about sharing and showing love on a different level, at a capacity where you never did before. It's like you imagine, you think, you want to express, but we get so complacent, we get so comfortable in our ways of life, and we get so caught up with everything else that we do not get the time to express who we really are. We do not take the time out to do it, because it's like, I've heard people say, why do you want to do this? I'm not interested in this. I mean, come on, this is a waste of time, and all sorts of things. People say all kinds of things to their partner. People call their partner childish. People call their partner names that hurt, and it leaves stains. Right? The reason for me saying that is in a poem in a minute, right? Part of the reason why I write and share and express it the way I do is because it can help people find themselves. Because when you think of if you really got to go back and thought as to when you started your relationship, when you used to write little notes, when you used to call every chance you get and try to say something, go for a moonlight walk, a little stroll, go for a bath in the river or in the sea, and all the fun things that you used to do that used to be exciting, and it felt like never ending. That's all gone. People, that thing is gone, and it's like, okay, we gotta pay the bills together, we gotta live together, we gotta make this house look nice, we gotta make it presentable, we gotta cook the food, we gotta wash the clothes, we gotta clean the house, and that's all we do. And we angry, and there are people that literally stay and they live in and they sleeping in the same bed, and a week would go by without a good conversation. And that's why I encourage to choose a poem in the book. Allow your partner to choose a poem in the book if they want to. And when you do express that, please do not take your partners for granted. Allow people to express who they really are, who they truly are to you because you're together. There's no going for another option. There is no jumping to something else because that's what we do. We look for something else. But what we need and what we want is always there with us. So when you take your time and you breathe and you ask for a minute, and that's what I was explaining to somebody, right? And I said, that's the one time you could tell your partner, hey, shut up for a minute. Don't say nothing. Just, I need your attention. I need your undivided attention. And express yourself. Take your time. Read it. Do not take your partners for granted when they're reading and expressing themselves to you. It makes a difference. And that's what we do. We're too busy with everything else. Our attention is elsewhere. And our prize, our joy, our grace is right there with us. So imagine living in bliss if you actually get to express who you really are to the person that you treasure and cherish. So that is my input to you guys. And that is part of the reason why I think you should get the book in order to express yourself properly. Love alone.
Love alone. So we come to the end of tonight. We wrap it up. I definitely want to bring you back because two reasons. One is because I feel like the audience haven't gotten enough, but also because of the technical issues that we had. I think we need a flawless interview. So definitely we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about some of these things that that evokes the writing. Talk about relationships. Talk about love, and I want to tell you thank you so much on behalf of all your fans for writing and sharing it with us. And also thank you for coming on this show as my guest on this weekend interview. This is one of my highlights in this weekend interview. I'll tell you that because I'm super proud of what you've produced. You call me uncle, but you made your uncle really proud. So thank you, Marshall.
And thank you to my aunties listening right now. Appreciate you. Love alone to you.
Love alone. So good night.
All right. Have a good night.
All right, listeners, there you had it. I hope you had a wonderful Valentine's Day and you have a really great night following your beautiful day. If I'm sure there's a lot of folks. There are some of you I imagine who had not been on this weekend interview before. Thank you for joining us. Um, we're usually smoother than this. I'm not sure what happened. We'll figure it out. I did say I got sort of late and didn't have had less time to set up than normal. Um, but nonetheless, I think we had a wonderful program. As I said, get your copy of a poem in a minute. Enjoy it. Give some feedback. Um, leave a review. Contact Tropicalis, and I want to wish you a wonderful remainder of your week. Those of my fans from Grenada, happy 50th anniversary of your independence. I know that you had a wonderful celebration. I was in Grenada in December and I saw where the preparation was starting to come together on the Carénage. Um, as it was a pity I couldn't go back for the actual celebration. But my Grenadian fans, happy 50th anniversary of your independence. I wish you prosperity. I wish a progressive and positive government in Grenada that could really help the folks there, the wonderful folks of Grenada, realize the true potential. But I want to say good night. Thank you to the folks behind the scenes, Sam and Ella, and my wonderful guest, Michael Drigo. Get the book, get 5 copies, get 2 copies, make a gift out of it, make gifts out of it. Put one on your coffee table. It's a wonderful starter. If there was somebody that you wished could have been your Valentine's this year, perfect. Buy them the book and give it to them. Give them a copy as a gift. You will see the result. All right. Or better yet, call them and read one or two of the poems to them. All right. So, folks, good night. And thank you for staying tuned. This has been This Week in Interview with your host, Anthony Drigo.